Outback Steakhouse is famous for their Bloomin Onion, but did you know Texas Roadhouse has their own knockoff version, and it may be just as good? Looking for traditional appetizers? If so, you'll likely love Texas Roadhouse. The restaurant chain features starters like boneless wings, potato skins, and more. But in addition to traditional fare, you'll also find more unusual appetizer options like fried pickles and fried jalapeno poppers. At Outback Steakhouse, many of the offerings aren't quite the norm, but that isn't a bad thing. Choose between eclectic grabs like fried mushrooms, fried mac and cheese bites, ahi tuna, coconut shrimp, and more. You can also order the original, ever-popular Bloomin Onion here, though Texas Roadhouse fans can expect to sample the same under the guise of cactus blossom. Either way, expect Outback Steakhouse to have more unique options, while Texas Roadhouse stays traditional for those whose taste buds don't like to stray too far off the beaten path. Cocktails, beer, and wine abound at both Texas Roadhouse and Outback Steakhouse, and the pricing, especially on cocktails, is pretty stellar at both chains. Outback Steakhouse shines with options like the Wallaby Darned, Strawberry Kiwi Rita, and the crowd-pleasing Blueberry Lavender Lemonade available for the choosing. At Texas Roadhouse, pricing is comparable, with fan favorites including the Jamaican Cowboy and Kenny's Cooler. If you're a fan of affordable alcoholic beverages, you likely won't be disappointed with the selection or prices at either restaurant. Texas Roadhouse claims to make all of its food from scratch, and of course, that includes the sides. While being made from scratch doesn't necessarily mean the food tastes better, it's worth noting that Texas Roadhouse does put a little more effort into its food than most joints. That makes it a high-quality selection, even when pitted against other popular steakhouse chains like Outback Steakhouse. Having said that, you can also find good Outback side dishes. Outback Steakhouse says their sides are made fresh rather than from scratch, but items like the baked sweet potato and home-style mashed potatoes are definite winners, rising above other less exciting options like the veggie grabs. One side dish which allows for direct comparison between the two chains is mac and cheese. Outback serves a steakhouse-style mac and cheese, while Texas Roadhouse got in hot water in 2023 for a series of viral TikToks revealing their mac and cheese isn't made from scratch, but is actually crafted from a box. Still, there are some select locations that make homemade mac and cheese on site, so ask your server before ordering. Otherwise, stick to Outback.
We paired it with that steakhouse mac and cheese, which is amazing.
It looks
that
to
mac
die
and cheese
for.
looks amazing.
Considering the pricing, both Texas Roadhouse and Outback Steakhouse deliver a pretty decent steak.
You like steak?
I do.
I deliver steak.
Do you?
Good steak.
Expect a variety of choices from each, along with a few fan favorites that devotees of each restaurant return for again and again. Take the bone-in ribeye at Texas Roadhouse, for example. It's 20 ounces of meat cut by an on-site butcher, and it's beautifully marbled. Another roadie favorite is the Dallas filet. Customers declare it's melt-in-your-mouth delicious. As for Outback, customers rave about the prime rib. It's said to be cooked to perfection with a delicious traditional crust on it to satisfy your taste buds. The bone-in ribeye is also a favorite here as well. It may not be as thick as some of the other steak options served at the establishment, but it makes up for that in flavor, appearance, and juiciness. Besides taste, though, there's one other consideration: price. Though Texas Roadhouse executives announced menu price increases in October 2023, the steaks at Outback Steakhouse may still be a little more costly than those at Texas Roadhouse. Still, prices also vary by location and could be affected by fluctuating beef prices, so specific prices can differ. Texas Roadhouse may only have a few seafood entrees, but according to online feedback, most people find them very satisfying. Having said that, Outback has slightly more options when it comes to seafood, but you may have to search around a bit on the menu to figure out what those offerings are. Outback has its own seafood section that features several seafood entrees, including 2 salmon dishes. While this is only one entree more than what Texas Roadhouse offers, it's important to note that seafood will pop up in several other places on Outback's menu as entree choices. You just have to look. For example, some of their pasta dishes come with shrimp. Additionally, it's important to remember that the restaurant encourages the addition of lobster tail, coconut shrimp, or grilled shrimp with any steak plate. Texas Roadhouse also offers grilled shrimp with a few of its steak plates, but seafood pasta options, coconut shrimp, and lobster tail aren't part of the variety. Thus, when it comes to the variety of seafood, Outback has you covered. Who comes to a steakhouse just to order chicken, right? Most people say, bring the steak and hold the chicken.
You want me to hold the chicken, huh?
I want you to hold it between your knees.
Still, some people prefer something lighter than steak, and for those select few, Outback Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse both have plenty to offer. At Outback, expect to enjoy options like grilled chicken, hand-breaded chicken tenders, and their own spin on classic wings. Pair any of these chicken dishes with your choice of 2 sides, and you've got a perfect poultry meal to satisfy your non-beef craving. With that said, Texas Roadhouse knows how to do chicken right too, with the favorite seemingly being the herb-crusted chicken. Its herb-infused seasoning is flame-grilled and served with a caramelized lemon to give it an even more zippy flavor, if you so desire. Other chicken-inspired grabs from Texas Roadhouse include smothered chicken, portobello mushroom chicken, country fried chicken, grilled barbecue chicken, and chicken critters. Steakhouses are obviously known for their steaks first and foremost, but both Outback Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse also have other good meat options, including fan-favorite burgers. So what makes the burgers at these steakhouses so great? Starting with Outback, customers love the spices used on the meat, the fact that the burgers come perfectly cooked, and the slight amount of char the patties come with. Meanwhile, Texas Roadhouse also offers at least 3 classic burger selections. Choose from the All-American Cheeseburger, Bacon Cheeseburger, and the Smokehouse Burger. Each is served with steak fries and a pickle. All in all, both Outback and Texas Roadhouse seemingly fly under the radar when it comes to their burgers, but they shouldn't be overlooked. While the reviews seem a bit split when it comes to Outback salads, the salads at Texas Roadhouse are no joke. There's something about the freshness of the thickly shredded cheese, the crisp and flavorful homemade croutons, and the decadence of the restaurant's made-from-scratch dressings that come together for a truly excellent salad. As for Outback Steakhouse, online reviews from patrons are all over the place, with opinions divided across the board. For example, while one reviewer called the Outback salad terrible, another praised both the crispness of the lettuce and the flavorful ranch dressing. So when it comes to the battle of the salads, it seems that Texas Roadhouse is the clear favorite. When it comes to pricing, you may find Outback to be slightly more expensive, but honestly not by much. While the restaurant does cost a few dollars more than its Texas Roadhouse competitor, it isn't a very notable difference, especially by way of steak pricing. For example, you can get the 18-ounce bone-in ribeye for about $32 at Outback, depending on local or seasonal price variations. At Texas Roadhouse, you can get a slightly bigger 20-ounce bone-in ribeye for slightly less money, about $29 depending on the location. Sounds like Texas Roadhouse is the cheaper option, right? Well, not so fast, because it also depends on what type of steak you're getting. A New York strip at Texas Roadhouse will run you around $22 for 12 ounces, while at Outback, you'll get a slightly better deal on a per-ounce basis with 16 ounces for $29. The price similarities extend to their side dishes as well. Ordering a la carte is going to cost you a little more at Outback. Their a la carte options are roughly $4 for traditional sides, while signature sides may cost as much as $6 or more. Texas Roadhouse doesn't have separate categories on its sides, but you can expect most of the traditional dishes to cost about $3, with some of the specialty ones costing a few dollars more. Even though the price differences are very small, a dollar or two here and there can add up when you're hungry, and especially if you are eating with a large group. So while the chains have very comparable prices, it's useful to know that Outback Steakhouse may ultimately cost you a little more money than Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse has dessert options that are tantalizingly delicious. Take the Big Ol' Brownie, for example. Fans of the restaurant rave about this dessert, declaring it to be chocolatey, melty, and decadent all the way until the last bite. Texas Roadhouse also offers strawberry cheesecake, along with a tasty apple pie with vanilla ice cream that's drizzled with honey cinnamon caramel sauce. Nevertheless, Outback has far more variety when it comes to pleasing those of us with a sweet tooth, and most of them are pretty interesting options. The Tim Tam Brownie dessert isn't something you'll see very often in America, as it contains a chocolate brownie, layers of peanut butter and chocolate mousse, caramel sauce, and of course our Knott's Tim Tam cookies, which are an Australian favorite. Plus, there are season variations that are even more over the top. Other options like the butter cake sound equally delightful, with strawberries and whipped cream to top everything off. There are also several other options, including more traditional picks like cheesecake and carrot cake, plus occasional limited edition desserts like the decadent chocolate tower. Call this one a win for Outback Steakhouse. With all things considered, choosing which is best between Texas Roadhouse and Outback Steakhouse is tricky. Both have really solid meals, desserts, and drinks, and prices, for the most part, are somewhat comparable. Still, Texas Roadhouse has proven to be slightly cheaper, even though it also features all made-from-scratch menu items. So despite the fact that Outback does offer some more unique options than you might find at other steakhouse chains in America, at the end of the day, it's Texas Roadhouse that gets the nod. Just make sure it's the right Roadhouse if you want a good time.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse.